Hey everyone, this is Jono from Veracity with another video in my video series. This one really continuing last week's topic on xAPI extensions. In this case, we'll be building some pretty simple reports with some extensions that we created in the last video. As usual, I'll put all kinds of links in the description of this video on some other videos that we've done recently that may be useful. Okay, let's go ahead and just dig right into a demo this time. If I can find the window, here we go. All right, so I'm at this same demo 2 LRS that I used last week. I know it might be a little bit harder to see this week, but I'm going to keep it zoomed out, and you'll see why. I'm going to build out a report, and I need some space. So let's just take a quick look as a refresher of the data that we got. Essentially, we have lesson XYZ and example activity, terrible names, and they both have different kinds of extensions. So let's start with lesson XYZ. And I'm just going to open any one of these, and you'll see this is an example of an activities definition extension. And in this case, we're putting in some data like what's the max time. Here it's 5 hours that you're supposed to spend on it. What's the scaled score, passing score? It's 85%. And then we've got some internal code for whatever reason for this course that doesn't fit into xAPI somewhere else. So we have an extension. We noted last time that these items describe the object, this thing here, not the entire statement. So, they shouldn't change, or maybe shouldn't change often is a better way to say it, because they are canonicalized. And just like last time, I will put some additional information in the description about what we mean by canonical and how it works in the system. Do want to show you one thing. I'm going to pop out of here. I'm just going to go back to the home of this LRS. And on this main tab here, where it says 10 activities right here, these are the canonical definitions of the activities that the LRS has built up. So if we open that and we go into lesson XYZ and open it up, you'll see in here we have max time and the scaled passing score and the lesson. So we took that data that was in extensions, and it is now part of the definition of this activity, which is great because you can use this later when you're reporting and doing stuff. It's part of the definition of the activity. Maybe we'll do a video later sometime on actually how to make use of that, but it is canonicalized. Let's take a look at the other one real quickly before we get into a report. So let's just open up example activity. Example activity is a multiple choice question. And the way it worked is there were two options, option 1, option 2, and then a third option was other. And if you picked other and you didn't pick one of the other two options, the first or second one, you got the ability to put in some text, and that text could either be in HTML or plain format. So we have extensions to collect, the regular response data is other. You picked the other checkbox. Well, what about the text that you typed? We created an extension called other text in our sample result extension where that value goes, and we even created a format so that we can represent if this is plain text or HTML in format. So this information, and actually when I do context while we're at it, there's also some context extensions. In this case, it's the device the user was using. And how did they get to this question? In this case, they were in a menu in some performance support content that got them to this question. And there's some other values for this. Unlike the ones that we just looked at, these values will change. The user might be using a different device. The next user who goes through this may be using a different device, or submits different text when they click other, or uses HTML instead of plain text. So this information is, as you would expect, not canonicalized. And let's just take a quick look at that, just like we did before. Go back to the home page, go to activities. We'll check out our example activity here, and you can see, it has all the information about the question, but we don't have any information about what that one user chose to, enter as their other text or what device they were using, because this is a canonical description of the activity, not the overall statement, not the overall activity, action that was performed. Okay. So So this is supposed to be about reports, and we've just spent enough time, I think, just kind of catching up on what's in here. First thing I just want to show you is we do a filter based on this lesson XYZ, and let's say that you want to take a look at what the max score is. You can use the configure option up here just like you would with other fields. Now where we have common properties on the left, extensions aren't common. They're something that you've defined, but you can pick them, and all of our pickers in the system, specifically in the statement viewer, but all other places that I'll show you in other videos, they'll reflect on the data that's in here. So for example, if you have object, definition, extensions, our extension was called this right here, and then it has these values, I can actually pick these. So I don't know, let's pick the scaled passing score, and maybe we'll add one more. Object, definition, extensions, that extension, and let's do max time. So now when I go back to the report, you can see that each statement has the same values for these. Now, maybe over time, you've had several scaled passing scores and you don't know what they are, and you want to go back and look at all of the values you used for scaled passing score. You click our spread operator up here, and it'll show you, in this case, there were 11 statements that had this, and all of them had 0.85. There would be more rows here if there were other values, but there weren't. So this is a good way to see that the scaled passing score was always 0.85. This one isn't as interesting in reporting, so let's just pop over quickly to the other example. This guy here, our example question. And I'm going to go ahead and do another configuration. So first I'm going to remove some of this data just so it's easier to see what's going on. And I'm going to add the response. And then I'm going to go in and do our result extensions. These are from video profile, but what we want are the sample here. Let's pick the other text. We'll add that one. I'm going to add these all. So let's just go back in, result extensions, and format. I'm going to add that, and I'm going to add the context extensions as well. So context extensions, my extension key, device, and one more. Context extensions, my extension, and entry point. Okay, so now I have configured this thing. Let's make it a little easier to read. There we go. We'll even move these in a little bit. All right, great. So we can see how our actors are interacting with our object, which in this case is a question. Almost everybody picked other, except for the first time Testerson answered it. He picked option 1. Of the people who picked other, they also have the text that they entered when they put in other, and you can even see the format. The first two are HTML, so we've got HTML, and these are all plain text, so they're plain text. We can also see what device they've used and how they got there, just navigating through the courseware, performance support, or a recommendation. So of course this is sample data, but you get the idea of how this may be used. So what I might want to know is, show me, clicking on the filter icon, everybody that used the Microsoft Surface Pro 3 that went in through the performance support menu. There we go. This is my list of people that used this device that went into the course in this way. Their response was other, and they had some, text response that they added. If I go into options, I can click download CSV and then download this file. And I'll go ahead and open that up. And you'll see we have basically an Excel report of the values that were in here, filtered as I have it filtered. So remember, I was only filtering in this case based on people that used the Microsoft Pro 3 and came into here through the performance support menu. So that's the data that I got in this report. I could also save this report in the configure tab. So I could just say this is my Microsoft performance support menu report, and save it, and I could just call up this exact report later if I wanted. If I went back and removed these filters and I was looking at all of the data, and let's say I want to filter it just where people picked other, not this other response. I could also go down in, download CSV again. Here we go. Let's open up it this time. And now you'll see that, as expected, I have all of the data that is in that report format, not just the ones that were Surface Pro 3 Performance Support menu before. So you see that even though you may create user-defined extensions that are meaningful to you, often tools that are out there on the market, it's hard to make use of your extended and customized data. But in the LRS reporting platform, really specifically here, the statement viewer, you have access to view all of those. You have access to filter. You can do a spread, for example, again here on user device. If I do this spread operator, you can see 5 people used Microsoft Pro, 3 used a Google Pixel 5, and 3 used an iPad Pro. So all of the tools work across this data, even though it's not standardized xAPI data in the data model that comes with xAPI. It's extended data, but you can still use it in our tool like you would pretty much any other data that is in the xAPI data model. All right, we're going to go ahead and call it there for today. Thought this was going to be a short one, ended up another long one. So if you like this video, please click the like, thumbs up button, and or subscribe. Thanks for watching, and have a good one.